for this. So I'm going to try as much as possible to give you so much value so that when you leave this place, you have as much tools as possible to ensure that you reach your targeted sales goal. So I don't know, Melanie, if I should just share the presentation and begin. Okay.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Okay. So everybody's about to see the presentation. Just say yes in the comments. I hope, Melanie, you can see it.
Yes, we can.
And you can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to find your ideal clients, how to find your ideal clients basically in your online business. So I'm imagining everybody here has an online business or is thinking about creating an online business, and you need to find the clients who appreciate whatever product or service that you're offering, understand the value, and you don't need to chase them or beg them to buy. They actually understand what you're bringing to their lives and are willing to buy. So I'm going to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Phanice Shamala, and I am married to a man called Mulengwa. Yeah, and I'm a business strategist, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. Those are my cutie babies. Yeah, so apart from business strategy, I love being a mom. I love dancing with my kids and pranking them, and that's my life. And actually, that's why I love working from home, because I get to do that when I want to. I don't need to ask for leave to be able to enjoy my children. What I do for work is I help business owners turn overwhelming confusion into a strategy so that they can set goal plans to achieve whatever goals they have in mind for their business. So I would like you to get a notebook or somewhere to write, whether it's on your laptop or on your phone, so that you can take notes. You know how it is when you don't write, you don't remember. You know, when you have a list for shopping and then you don't write sugar, and that's the one that takes you to the supermarket, that's the one you'll forget. So try and write the gems. You don't have to write everything, because obviously Melanie is going to send you a recording, but at least make sure you take note of what is something that you would like to work on after this session. So I would like us to start with an affirmation, because I really believe everything starts with the mind. If you don't believe that your ideal clients exist, you will not get your ideal clients. If you don't believe in yourself, you will not sell to the client. If you don't believe in your product or service, you will not sell to the client. If you don't believe in your price, you will not sell to the client. The client will be like, oh my God, I can get it expensive. You're so expensive, I can get it cheaper elsewhere. And you'll be like, let me just sell you cheaply, because you really don't believe in yourself. So you can have the best strategy, which I will give you. You can have the best team or capital, but if you don't have self-belief in yourself, you are just, you're a non-starter. So one of the things that helps me, self-belief is not something you're born with. It's actually something you learn and acquire, and it's a muscle that you have to keep working on. One of the things that help me is affirmations. Every morning I look into the mirror and I tell myself something good is going to happen that day. So I want you to write down this affirmation in your notebook, or if you would like in the chat, just say, my perfect clients are looking for me and they are excited to buy from me. You know, say that to yourself and really believe it. And when you go to the market, when you have that high, it actually, you know, goes into whatever you're selling, the passion shows. So I'd really like us to believe in what we're going to learn and to believe that it will work, to have an open mind, yeah, so that we engage and ensure that everything we're saying we implement. Okay. My slide is refusing to go to the next slide, just 1 minute. Okay, so people are buying. According to Statista in 2020, I think over 2.14 billion people worldwide are expected to buy goods and services online. That's a huge number. It's bigger than our country, I think. So it's almost as bigger than China. So a lot of people are buying online. So there is no reason for you not to sell. It's just for you to find your tribe. So imagine all those people. You only need 0.00 whatever percent to be able to fulfill your sales goal. So you really have to know people are buying online. Yeah. So one of the reasons I just thought you might not be selling, I listed down 5 reasons. And one of the reasons could be, you could have one reason that applies to you, or you could have 5 reasons. So it's up to you to, figure out what applies to you. So just have a inner conversation with yourself. So one of the reasons is maybe you're not clear on why, and you're not aligned on why your business exists. So you chose a business, but you were not sure why. Maybe you were pressured into it, or maybe you thought it was fashionable, or maybe you thought it's going to give you a lot of money. You really didn't have a concrete reason, a concrete purpose on why you chose this business, or like I say, why this business chose you. Number 2, you're selling to the wrong audience. So you're selling to people who don't understand the value of your product or service in their lives. So you're selling to anybody and everybody. Yeah, you're shouting to everybody to buy. You're telling like some people complain, oh, my friends and family are not supporting my business. They're probably not your ideal audience. So if you're selling to the wrong people, then they are rejecting your product and services because they don't see how that is improving their lives. Yeah. You don't have a clear enough marketing strategy. I cannot emphasize this enough. A lot of people use their capital to buy a product or service, and they really don't think, how am I going to sell this? Actually, you should start with the strategy before you buy the product and service, because at the end of the day, you can create this huge website, very flashy colors, nice. Nobody's visiting your website. Nobody understands how your website works for them. So first, before you go to the market, have a strategy on how you're going to do it, which we're going to go through right now. So that could be the reason why you're not selling. And then you are focused on quantity over quality. So when you're a small business, you really should have a quality audience rather than a quantity audience, because you don't have enough resources like, let's say, Safaricom, who can put in money in their brand without any ROI coming in for as long as possible. You are really trying to use as little resources as possible with little time to ensure you make sales. So you would rather concentrate on quality, meaning a fewer number of people who understand what you're doing, rather than having so many people who don't care for your product or service. So in this instance, you might have many likes on Instagram, on Facebook, and many followers on Instagram, but nobody is actually buying. So you have 100,000 likes or 50,000 likes, but no sales. But you can have 100 likes and 90 sales, So, and then your communication or engagement with your ideal audience is inconsistent. This is also another one, because you post when you feel like, you don't have a plan when to post. You post when you feel like your inspiration has hit. You post when other people are posting to copy what they are posting. You write on other people's pages. Have you ever seen somebody has posted something and you're there selling, and maybe they just asked a question? So they asked, oh my God, it is so cold in Nairobi. And then you're there, I sell blankets, like just riding on them, because you really didn't have a plan or a consistent engagement plan for like 30 to 90 days on how you're going to reach your ideal audience. So I would like Melanie to also chip in. And as she chips in, I would like to know in the chat, what do you think is one of the reasons that is affecting your business currently? Is it, what do you think you need improvement in? Yeah, Melanie?
Thanks, Phanice. I totally agree with these reasons, and as you were going through them, I was just laughing because then you find most people are not clear on their why, especially when they go online to look at marketing. Sorry, I have to
mute, please. Mute.
Okay, apologies. I think you can now hear me. But I was just saying, there are so many people who don't know their why. Sorry, can you guys hear me well?
Okay. Kindly make sure you're on mute. Oh, thank you, Melanie, for that. Yes. So I don't even understand. My slide just keeps hanging.
Okay, apologies. I just realized I had paused the recording. So just to repeat what I was saying, in summary, number one, you have to have a goal before you go online, because without a goal, then you're definitely not going to be going anywhere because you don't know what you're trying to work towards when it comes to digital marketing. Number two, have a defined target audience. No brand targets everybody. And lastly, be consistent. Even if consistency means posting every Monday, post every Monday. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to post on a daily basis. Phanice, back to you.
Thank you, Melanie. Yeah, so we're gonna say how you get clear on your why. So Melanie and I are saying be clear on your why. Maybe some people here don't understand what that means. So your why is your personal decision on why you chose this business. There's billions and billions of business ideas in the world, but you chose this particular one that you were doing right now. What are your reasons for choosing this business? Why did you start this business? What drove you to start this business? Are you passionate about it? Yeah, are you fueled? Are you motivated? Are you in that industry? Do you really care what happens to that industry? Yeah, so like if you're in the saloon business, do you care where the saloon business is going? Do you care about the challenges people are facing? Do you really want to contribute to that industry? Or you know, so that is what should fuel your passion, not because you've seen somebody else making money from saloon business and you think, oh, then it is this easy, let me just do it. So if your business, you really don't know your why and you're in the wrong business, I would rather you stop, think about your why and start afresh, because at the end of the day, business is zigzag. Not every day is a good day and not every day is a bad day. So if you're not motivated, you don't have passion for that business, when it is a bad day, you will give up. And I'm not an angel. I have made that mistake myself. I went into farming because I thought farming would make me easy money. Or 3 months I farm watermelons. When the going got tough, oh my God, I ran away and I wasted so much money and so much time because it wasn't meant for me. So everybody has a gift to contribute to this world, and you do too. So you just need to find it, and anything can be turned into a business. I think one of the mistakes we've made, especially here in Africa, we think business traditionally of something like work, like something, you know, your hobby can actually turn into a business. Yeah. So whatever you do for fun, you're thinking, oh, this is just exciting for me. Other people might find it exciting and might want to be taught how to do that. I actually know of a lady who teaches people how to play percussion drums, and they pay her and to learn how to play percussion drums, something you wouldn't think would be a business. So I want you to focus on yourself and say, what am I talented at? What skills and experience do I have? What do I really enjoy doing? I would do it for free. I would do it every day without getting tired. Like what I'm doing now, if you come tomorrow, I will do it. In the afternoon, I will do it. Like I will do it. I'm not going to get bored doing it. Yeah, it's not going to get challenging because I love it. Yeah, so think about what motivates you. Think about what value you're bringing to the client. So you're not just going to get money from the client. You're going to exchange value for money. So if you're not passionate about it, you will not be able to showcase that value in a way that the client receives it. Yeah. So what excites you about this product or service? How do you want to serve the client, and why this particular client and nobody else? You understand? So like there's some people who are very good with kids. Some are not. Me, I'm good only with my kids, not with everybody else's kids. Yeah. So if you're good with kids, not everybody else is good with kids. So that should be your motivation. Like I really love kids since I was young. Saloon business, I can't stand the whole day, you know, making people's hair. And other people, that is easy to them. They can do it in their sleep. So you really find in your inner self what fuels your passion, what makes you happy, what do you really enjoy doing, what can you speak about without any motivation, you know, whatever it is, just think about now how you can turn that into a money-making business. Yeah, Melanie?
I think I totally agree with that. I like that you started with the fact that a business doesn't have to be something so big. So I'm I'm doing my master's and I have this entrepreneurship class. So every time the lecturer asks, how many entrepreneurs do we have in the class? Then you see people keeping quiet. Then he's like, how many of you have like an Instagram shop? You know, you just sell on Instagram, then lift up their hands and you're like, okay, you know, that's entrepreneurship. The whole point of telling you this, number one, a business doesn't have to be something so complicated. Don't think of yourself as a Safaricom. You get there, you know, slowly, step by step. But make sure that it's something that you're passionate about, and also make sure that it's something you're comfortable to talk about. Because most times people buy the person more than the brand.
Yeah.
So, for instance, today you are going to continue the rest of the days of your life remembering Phanice, for instance, simply because then, yes, she had the content. I'm sure some of you may have noticed her slides have her company name, Connect and Collaborate, but there are more chances that you remember her more than Connect and Collaborate. So make sure, even as you have a business, what kind of impact do you want to have on people? What memory do you want to leave on people, whether it is online or offline? So even when you're thinking of a business, do you want to have a business that fully runs online? Do you want to have a business that runs fully offline? You need to ask yourself questions like that, because then it will make everything a lot easier for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And to add on that, people actually do buy your passion. That's what we mean by saying they buy your why. Like, have you ever gone to, like, when you go to toy market to buy shoes or mtumba, whatever, and you ask this person, how much are these shoes? And they're like 600. And then you're like, can I try? Can you give me the one at the top? And you see they're not enthusiastic. They're not, it's like you're disturbing them, you're annoying them. And you were just like, okay, thank you, and pass by. And then you go to the next stall and probably the shoes are double the price. And you say, how much are these shoes? And this guy says, no, first try them. Hey, let me bring a mirror. And then he'll tell the others, and people will be like, hey, ni poa sana. The enthusiasm will be like, okay, let me buy. It's the same shoes, probably even more expensive, but because he was passionate in what he was doing, you actually enjoy it. And even an example is this guy, Ugali man, who is trending. He was just eating. I've known this guy he's a friend of a friend. He's been eating ugali like that in videos for a long time. And he's very passionate about how he eats ugali. And now he's the ambassador for Odibeds, and he's been given a 5 million contract for his passion. So if you're not showing your passion and people are not seeing how passionate you are about your business, then how do you expect them to really enjoy and be excited to buy from you? So you really need, and if you can't fake, you can't fake passion. It really is something that is there or it's not. So basically, think about everybody has a passion. Nobody, and even some people have more things that they are passionate about than others, but think about the one that you're really most passionate about, that you really want to nurture into something that can give you a legacy business. So we want to now talk about our ideal client. Don't go to talk about your ideal client if you're not sure on your why, because your why is connected to your ideal client. So you have to niche down to stand out. This one, every time I work with a client and I tell them that, they just freeze. Because I think the way we've been brought up is like, you want to sell to everybody because clients are not there or clients are far in between. That is scarcity mindset. That's why I started with mindset. You really have to believe your clients are there. And also you need to have a plan to know how big is my target audience and how I can reach them. So I'm imagining everybody here is a small business owner. So when you're a small business owner, you're actually swimming in this big ocean that has the Safaricom's and the Jumias and everybody else who is selling, huge amounts. They have a huge budget. For you to stand out, you have to niche down. You really have to niche down to stand out. So let me back up my claim. There's a lot of competition out there, and it can be challenging to stand out with limited resources. So you don't have a big budget to maybe put in like 50K for advertising every day. You don't have money for these huge billboards or whatever. You have these few resources that you want to use. So by niching down, by selling to a specialized market, you actually have a smaller audience that understands what you do. Everybody is special in a way. Like me, I'm a mom, I know other moms, but we have different needs and different ways we take care of our kids. So if you're just targeting moms, you're targeting all of us, and that's you're competing, for example, with Pampers, with Valon, with Vaseline, everybody else. But if you're selling, for example, something for babies and you say it's for babies with special needs, or you're selling for babies or whatever, then I will pay attention because I am that kind of mom. And in that small pool, you'll be that big fish, okay? So you will use your resources wisely. Whatever small amount you have for advertising yourself or marketing your product or service will be used wisely only if you niche down. Now, another reason is having a specific product to a specific category, or having a special niche makes it easier for you to describe what you do. So like if you say specifically, I serve Kasarani. So you say, I'm a real estate agent and I serve Kasarani only. Whenever I think about Kasarani, I always think about you. But if you say I'm a real estate agent and you're competing with Palm Golding, you're competing with Lloyd Masika, you're competing with Villa Care, those are big names that are in my face every day. So they're advertising me to every day. So they're top in mind because they're with me every day, and you're at the bottom of the list. But when you describe it specifically, then when I think about Kasarani, you are top in mind. And then everybody is searching for something. So we have, every time we have a 3% people who are searching to buy something immediately. So like if I am, for example, I need new glasses, I'm going to go online and say, where can I get affordable glasses, as an example. So if you have specialized, if you have not specialized, that means you will get lost in the search, because the other big people like Optica, they have already advertised, there on top of the Google search or Facebook search, and you're a small fish who is there in the bottom of the search, and I won't bother to go to the other page and the other page because I want to get to this thing as fast as I can. So if you target your niche, you're gonna get in front of your ideal audience quicker, because they are specifically looking for something. So like, for example, if I have big feet and I need high heels, I can say I'm looking for high heels for women with big feet. So the other people who are advertising, they will be advertising for everybody because they have budgets and everything for that, and also they have huge capital base. So with that, you will stand out because they'll be like, oh my God, I've been looking for you. And then number 4, brand loyalty. Once you create something that people appreciate because it has been missing, because they've not gotten this specialized treatment, they will actually be loyal to you. So like, for example, yesterday was on Sunday was my baby's birthday, but we celebrated yesterday at school. And I always know there's if someone has allergies, there's like 2 or 3 bakers who make what are they called, these cakes? I forget the name, but it's for people who have allergies to milk. So, for example, if you have you're a baker and you specialize in baking sugar-free, you understand? People who are having that issue of their children are diabetic, or they are diabetic and they can't get this cake with sugar, you will create a name for yourself in that space. So they know each other because they meet in hospitals, they interact with each other, they know someone who knows someone. So they'll always say, oh, you want a sugar-free cake, then talk to so and so. So that will create brand loyalty with your customer base. And then you will build authority, because in that area where you're sharing information and helping them with whatever they are going through, you will build authority and be the go-to person for that particular service. So like if you've niched down to sugar-free cakes, then anytime they talk about sugar-free cakes, you are there. Any information they need on why it is important, what does it look like, you're commenting, you're giving them ideas, you're giving them trends and tips. So then they know, if I need anything sugar-free, this is the person to go to. So really, if you're a small business and you're starting out and you're trying to sell to everybody, you're going to be overwhelmed, number 1. Nobody's going to buy from you because they don't know you like that. They really don't know what makes you special. And then number 3, you're going to use so much resources because you're advertising everywhere. So like I've told you, 2.4 billion people are looking to buy. So all those people, there are other players also willing to buy. So if you're not standing out and you're not creating your own space in this huge ocean where you can, have your own tribe, then you're really missing out. So you want to know who is your ideal client in that specialized space. Yeah, you want to know what do they value. So like for this person, the sugar-free person, they value, that the cake doesn't affect their child. The child has allergies, or whoever has allergies, even if it is cakes for the elderly. Yeah, so that is what they value. And you value the same thing. That is why your why is important here, because if you can't fake that you value sugar-free if you don't value sugar-free. Yeah. And then it will also help you with your strategy on how you can reach them. So you ask yourself, where are they? How can I reach them? It will also help you with potential partnerships. Yeah. So who else is in that field, and how can you partner? How can you have one voice and create a huge wave in this small space? So you really need to understand who your ideal customer is in terms of breaking it down to who they really are. We are men and women, but we also have different special needs. We have different price pockets. We have different lifestyle. We're in different geographical areas, etc. We're not all the same. So once you specialize, then I feel like you really understand my needs. Yeah. So you can't sell weaves and at the same time you're selling natural hair products at the same time. Like, it just looks like it's not genuine. You really need to care about natural hair. You are wearing natural hair, you use it on yourself. Yeah. If you're creating, for example, oil for acne, you know what it is to have acne, how it affects your self-esteem. You don't take photos, etc. You know, if you're a photographer specifically for children, you know how to make children calm, to make them look cute in photos, which many photographers don't do. I'm telling you the truth. So that you understand how the biggest challenge your ideal client has and how you move in to be able to solve that. And Melanie?
Wow, Phanice, I mean, the more you keep talking, I'm just laughing to myself because it's reminding me of some of the mistakes we share with each other. So Phanice and I have been friends for a while, and I mean, we are open. When business is not working, it's not working. We talk about it. When it's working, it's working. And so, I mean, specifically for this slide, when you're talking about, you know, your ideal client and everything, it's so funny how I'm sure most of us who are on this call, when you're starting a business and you want to go online to market, you're just like, I'm going to be everywhere. I'll be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of them, TikTok. And then you're so excited, you know, the first few times you create content and then you get tired because now you realize, hiya, kumbe creating content is not easy. We don't just wake up and post, you know, we have to think of something around it. I usually tell people the easiest thing to think about when it comes to creating content, think of the challenges your consumers are going through. You know, think like your client. Why exactly would they want to give Yvonne or Michelle business? You know, it's because they're going through a certain challenge that they think you can solve. So even when you're thinking of how can I create my social media content so that this ideal client of mine is attracted to me, think of things that they could be going through. If today I came and told you how I know it's so difficult to create content and I can make things easier for you as Melanie, of course you'll reach out to me because you're like, hey, by the way, I've been struggling to create content. And this chick says she can make things easier for me. Why not reach out to her? And so when you're thinking of your ideal client, please constantly keep in mind what Phanice has said. Don't forget that they are the client. Think of yourself when you're a client for another brand. All those things you take that company through, your client will take you through. So some things clients do, I'm sure we get shocked. You're like, no, why are they doing this? And if you are the client, you probably would be doing the same thing. So always try. I know it's difficult, but try put yourself in your client's shoes and then think like that. So everything will come falling in place. How you create your content, how you come up with your strategy around how you reach them in terms of what platforms they are on. So rather than you being everywhere, you now realize I'm targeting Phanice who are moms who are super active on Facebook, but not their Facebook feed. They are super active in Facebook groups. So instead of me shouting on Facebook feed, I'll go and shout in Facebook groups. I just need to find out from Phanice which groups are these that mamas like you are on, you know, rather than shouting everywhere else. So that's what I would add on.
Yeah, it's like pouring something and hoping it falls on the client without actually knowing, targeting where it will fall. You really have, it's like you're playing kati, you really have to aim, laser focus aim on the particular person so that when it hits them, they're like, how did you know? How did you know that this is what I am going through? Yeah. And the more specific you are, the better. So like if you say moms who want to be fashionable, what kind of moms are you saying? Do they want, what kind of fashion? Is it fashion for church? Is it fashion for going to the office? Is it fashion for me who is hanging out? Is it for date night? You know? So it's not just every mom has the same kind of fashion. We have moms who are funky. We have moms who are laid back. So be very specific. Peel it like an onion until you get to that specific person who's like, wow, plus size, sexy, that's me. I really want that fashion. But if you're just like fashion for everybody, I'll be like, I'm not everybody, moving on, because I want to feel special. I want to feel like you understand the challenge that I am going through. Yeah. So you also want to know where your ideal client hangs out. So if you are not specific, if your ideal client was women, where do we women are everywhere. Women are on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on Facebook, they are on Instagram, they are on LinkedIn. What kind of women? That's what I was trying to say. So if it is office wear for women, then you should be on LinkedIn, because most people who are professionals are on LinkedIn. And don't try and, first of all, if you do too much, you get overwhelmed, because you won't be able to engage. Because you want, when people are commenting on your post, you want to be able to engage them, get to know them better. I always tell my clients, be like a doctor. You know, when you enter the doctor, by the time they ask you the second question, they already know what they are about to do, whether they want you to go to the lab or do, but they just keep asking you to make you feel comfortable. Oh, ulianza kusikia hivi lini, na wapi, na aje, and you talk your heart out. Yes, I've not been sleeping, and this and that, and then they're very patient. So even with your client, it has to be the same strategy. So if you're doing office wear, don't just bang, buy my suit. Get to know me, get to know my style, get to know what makes me comfortable, how I'd like to be perceived, how I want to look, and then touch on that. That is what will make me think you really have an authority in office wear for me, who is a plus size person, rather than Melanie, who is not. You know, Melanie is much younger, maybe wants a funkier, more mini skirt, and me, I want to look like I go to church and things like that. We are different, and we are both women. So you can't say your client hangs out on Facebook. Be specific, like Melanie has said, where on Facebook? If it is on Facebook groups, which groups? And in those groups, what do they talk about? What comment gets a lot of engagement? What are they most passionate about? What would they like to see in future? That's what you should create content on. So like if you say hangs out on Facebook, is too general. If you say hangs out on Wine Livers for Africa Facebook, maybe you sell wine accessories, you know, that is more actionable. So when you go there, you will ask them, what kind of wine do you like? How do you like it delivered? You know, do you have a wine bar at home? How does it look like? Is your style rustic or, you know, luxurious, whatever it is? Those are the things that will make them, you know, sales is actually relationships. It's you create relationships with those clients. So if you say he likes outdoor, that is not enough. Me, I like outdoor, but I'm not going hiking. Let me tell you for sure. I'm not gonna go hiking. So if you're selling hiking boots as an example, you need to know which people like outdoors, who do they like, where do they hike, where do they go, what challenges do they face in those groups. I actually know someone who just sells socks for hikers, and she's really specialized for, because they have to have, I didn't even know they have to have special socks for hiking and special boots, and she has specialized on that, and she goes to Gikomba and gets them and washes them nicely and irons them, and she's also a hiker, so she understands why it is important to have those quality socks. So for me, if you're saying outdoors, maybe it is for me and my kids. So maybe I go to my kids outdoors when I want to take them out. So that is the content that I need. So reading blog is not enough. Which blogs do they read? Yeah. Which blogs do they read? Who influences them? Who influences them to make decisions? Know them that well. And I want to emphasize, you cannot know someone in one day. That is where consistency comes. So you can't just come to a group and be like, hey, now I know. You really have to test and readjust. Test and readjust. You can decide, like when I started, I was like, oh, I'm going to work with small business owners. Then I changed to consultants, and now I work with moms, you know, because you realize that this might not be working. It's the same thing I'm offering, marketing, business strategy, but it's a different audience receives it better than another audience. So really think about your ideal audience as specific as possible. Yeah, Melanie?
I think you've said it very well. Be as specific as possible. You know, and when it comes to defining your target audience, don't think of it as something very complicated. You know, Phanice has mentioned a few things. It could be as simple as you need to decide, are you targeting just women? Are you targeting just men? Or is it both? You need to think of simple things like what age group. You know, I usually laugh at people who say, I'm targeting 18 plus. You won't talk to them the same way. You have to break it down. Are you going to talk to the 18, maybe to 25-year-olds in one way? Are you going to talk to these other ones the same way? Simply because all these people have different challenges they're going through. You can't categorize them in one bulk category, then most of all, you need to ask yourself, what kind of information would these people be wanting from me? For instance, let's say I owned a salon. What kind of information would people want from me? If I'm targeting both genders, then of course the men would want to know, do we actually have a barber shop? If we have a barber shop, how much is a haircut? Does the haircut probably come with a massage afterwards, or is it just a haircut? If it's ladies, we want to know, what kind of product are you using? Do I need to carry my own products, or what shampoos do you have? Pictures of what hairstyles have you plaited before, of what shaves have you done for people before? It's as simple as that. That's why I keep insisting, think like your client. It makes it a lot easier. So even as you're understanding your target audience deeper like that, because we are defining little elements that help us define our target audience, then you're able to come up with many ideas for content. Sometimes it could even just take you sharing problems that you went through, because probably that's what inspired you to start that business. So probably you just need to share issues that you were going through before, that you think people are still going through, and how you solve them. So for me, I would say yes, narrowing down is extremely important. If there's one thing you take away from today, nobody targets everyone. It's impossible. At least that's the one thing you should take away from today.
Yeah, very important. Okay. Oh, sorry, I went too far. Yeah. So you want to, Melanie has touched on that. You want to think about what challenges your ideal client is going through. So whatever they are discussing, for example, you've gone to where your ideal client hangs out. So you're a salon owner, and you've gone to, maybe you're specific for natural hair, and you've gone and they've discussed maybe how they don't have hairstyles that look good for weddings, or they don't have hairstyles that look good for interviews, or how to maintain dreadlocks, whatever it is. That will help you package your content in order to engage with your ideal client. So you really want to know what, Melanie has really explained this well, what are they discussing, what are their pain points of frustration, and how you can use that to create content. So one mistake we make, and I also make this mistake, I'm not judging, when you know better, you do better. I also did that. I just used to go and say, buy. I used to sell events. I was like, buy a ticket. And I haven't really understood where they are coming from, where their pain point is. So if someone says, oh my God, I wish somebody would edit this video for me, you can say, oh yeah, I do video editing specifically for online creators or YouTubers or vloggers, or someone says, I want to lose weight. Then you can be like, oh, I have this thing for losing weight. So then you can turn that into questions and say, would you like to lose? How much would you like to lose? Create a conversation. Don't be that person who people think you're just in here to get me my money, and always use this example, and I offend some people, but honestly, the insurance sellers are like that. They're always like, buy insurance. They really don't tell you how much it impacts your life, how much it will improve your life, and they're always calling, and like this, it's not a conversation, it's like you just have to buy. So if someone says, oh, I wish I could schedule my content, I could schedule my tweets, then Melanie will be like, yeah, I can do that for you, I can help you with scheduling your tweets. If somebody says, I don't know how to boost on Facebook, that is the conversation. That's how their challenge is the beginning of the conversation. So you really need to be clear on what their challenge or frustration or pain is. Yeah. Now, how to niche? How do you specialize? There's so many ways to specialize. I don't even, like, a lot of people find it challenging. I think when you find it challenging, think about three things. Think about what you're most passionate about. So yes, I am passionate about marketing strategy, but I'm also passionate about African moms. I feel like they're undeserved. Like, I feel like you have to choose either career or, being a mom. So you have to ask for permission when it's for today. And then when your child is sick the next day, they're like, but you had an off yesterday, or, you're not allowed to, sometimes you have to miss the important dates. I had a friend of mine who is a lawyer who became a client. She told me she stayed like for a month and a half where she didn't see her son. She used to stay in Mombasa Road. So she would leave work late and find the boys asleep, And then when she'd wake up to go early because to beat the jam, the boy would still be asleep. So they stayed like almost 2 months without ever meeting. And she was like, that was enough for me. So I can relate to that. Or if you're like me and you're independent and you don't like, this, I feel like there are unnecessary rules at work. Like, I feel like I should be able, if I work late, I should be able to come a little bit late in the morning. But they're like, no, you have to be here by 8, and etc. You want to work independently. So you're my kind of person. So there are many, many ways to look at how your product can serve. So you can think about your geographical area. Like I talked about the client of mine who decided to be a real estate agent only for Kasarani. And what he was doing now was creating content just for Kasarani. So he would create content like how many hospitals are in Kasarani, where can you take your kids for leisure over the weekends, how many malls are there, which is the safe areas and which are areas that you should doubt. So when he was creating that content, he was actually building authority as the real estate agent to go to Kasarani. So anybody was like, I'm looking for a house maybe in Kasarani, they'd be like, oh, talk to so-and-so, because he posts a lot of information that is helpful in terms of his geographical area. You can decide lifestyle. Like I talked about the person who is hiking, that's a lifestyle thing because not everybody does that. You can decide occasion. So if you're an events manager, you can say you're only an events manager specifically for, Christmas, or specifically for special occasions like Halloween, Christmas, Easter. You're not just doing everything. You're not here today, you're doing a wedding, tomorrow you're doing a conference, tomorrow you're doing, what do you want to be known for? You can decide on profession. I only serve, you can say I'm a marketing strategist only for people in the professional medical area, because they have different rules for marketing their services than other marketing. So they can't overtly advertise. It's more content, more research. So if you have been in the medical profession, maybe you are an events person there, used to do their scientific conferences, then it's an easier say, okay, now I will do marketing strategy for doctors specifically. So now you're thinking about it. How many doctors do we have in Kenya? How many clinics do we have all over? And not just in Kenya, because if you're doing marketing strategy and you're just online, that means you can market for anybody, anywhere around the world. So if you're thinking that when you niche, then your pool becomes more smaller, it actually becomes bigger, because there's not many marketing strategies for doctors, not one you can think of in your head. And probably doctors are hungry for that. They're looking for somebody who can help them with their content, their website, making sure people can book for clinic, making sure people have information on how to prepare for clinic, things like that. Like I remember when I used to go for clinic, I used to ask myself, what should I do? What should I wear? What should I shave? Should I do this? All that information. If somebody would have helped me, then I would have trusted that doctor, because they're giving me helpful information and building authority in my life. So it can be style, like I talked about, high heel shoes, a lot of things. So think about what you're most passionate about. Think about what skills you have, what experience you have. So like if you've been a HR manager for 13 years and you want to be a HR strategist, it's a very natural progression, rather than you're a HR manager and then you go to salon business. You don't know how to make hair. You don't know what entails running a salon business. You've never owned a salon, things like that. It will be much more difficult. Yeah. So they will probably steal from you. You probably think it is overwhelming. You won't enjoy it. You will be unhappy, rather than if you enjoyed being a HR manager. And also it will help you because you're already known in that field. So for that 13 years, you made connections who are willing to vouch for you, rather than if you go to a new business where nobody knows who you are or what you do, and you're just learning on the job. So think about also the need. Which areas are not served? If, for example, everybody is doing catering for weddings, people who are not doing weddings, or people who are not doing something else, what are they supposed to be? Who are they going to for that service? If people are serving the same food in weddings, it's the same pilau, the same chapati, the same stew, what can you do to differentiate yourself? Is there a hunger for people to say, I'm tired of eating the same food, I'm this bride, I want something different? Can you do that for me? Think about what gap is there in your industry, in your market, that you can fill. Because I'm sure, when you think about it, you're like, yeah, for real, I've been eating the same food. I would really like something different. Like, I would be, you know, like a seafood wedding or barbecue wedding or luxurious, you know, wedding, whatever it is, would be something different. And then you'll be well known in that. For example, if you're making bridal gowns, maybe tall plus size women are having a difficulty getting, you know, sexy gowns that look good, that are, you know, they're not looking like a mama. So can you fill that gap? Think about it. So there's so many ways you can specialize. It doesn't have to be the specific client. It can be very different ways. So start thinking about it and figuring out, where do you think your service is needed most, which is your strength, and how you can, you know, you can serve a gap that is missing in your industry or where you are at the moment. Instead of being similar to other people, try and be different. Melanie?
Being different is like extremely important, especially, I'll keep referring to online, because then, you know, online is my space. But being different is very important online, because I want you to just try imagine how many people, how many organizations are shouting on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All of us are shouting. So you're not just competing with other companies, you're also competing with individual people who are probably offering a service in your space. And so what makes you unique? What makes Melanie want to stop when she reaches your post, you know? And think of yourself as an individual. When you're going through your social media, we're all scrolling until something makes you stop. After this meeting, the next time you go on your social media, try ask yourself, what actually makes you stop on that post? And once you figure it out, I'm sure one of the things you'll be able to identify is these people were able to niche on something, even if it's for fun. You know, I'm very can I say addicted to TikTok in terms of watching. I don't post, but I watch.
Yeah.
And sometimes I laugh at myself, because then there are people who, if I think about it right now, have identified a niche, and that's what has drawn me in. So I know anytime I need to laugh, you know, and I'm feeling down, let me go to so-and-so's account. Anytime I need like business tips in a fun way, let me go to someone else's account. So think of a niche and then use that niche to draw in your audience. You don't have to be like everybody. Whatever will make you unique will bring the appropriate client for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Melanie. So I've just put examples of niches to excite you and inspire you, because a lot of times a lot of people are like, oh my God, if I niche, now what do I do? But first of all, niche is not a marriage. It's not till death do us part. It's just specifically for that, for your marketing effort. And then, like I have told you, my niche is moms. It doesn't mean if a dad comes, I will say, no, I will not serve you. It just means where you'll find me is the spaces where moms are tired of their 9 to 5, or they want to spend more time with their kids and they want to bring in money, income, so that they can be able to afford that freedom to spend time with their kid. So if another person who is not, like someone came and told me, do you coach people who are not moms? I was like, yeah, but it doesn't mean I'm marketing there, because I don't want to be everywhere and then lose everybody. I want to be known for this specific thing. So I don't want you to think if you niche, you are in jail. You're in jail and you can't let anybody else in. So I told you that lawyer, you remember? So the example, now she's she helps online consultants like Melanie and I. Melanie and I have to have documents, because when you sign up with us, we have to agree, you know, we have to agree on terms. We have to agree you will show up, you will provide certain things, and we will also provide certain things in the value of money. So whatever you're paying us for, we have to be able to say we will do it, so that if we don't do it, you have a place where you can go and say she signed this and she did not deliver. So she has specialized writing contracts for online consultants. So in terms, because Melanie and I don't know the law, we are not lawyers. We don't know what if we you know, you sue us and say we didn't deliver, which law are we going to quote to help us? We don't know. So we have to rely on her to create contracts for us so that we can give you as a client to be able to sign. So imagine how many online consultants exist. Like Melanie will tell you, I think there's maybe 10,000 a day that come up, and in different ways, because consultants there's engineering consultants, there's consultants in medicine, there's consultants telemedicine, consultants in IT. So her pool is huge. But the other way of not niching, she would have done everything. She would have done divorce. She would have done politicians when they lose election. I don't know what that is called. She would have done so what will she be known for? Because those areas are already taken. All politicians are going to Orengo or Ahmed Nasir or whoever. They're not coming to her because she's young and she's starting out. But online consultants, they need that service. They need to be specific. So she'll create a document for you, tell you if the law has changed, if there's new tax that you have to pay that has to go to the client, and she'll be able to educate you on that. And then you'll rely on her for your online contracts, and she'll be able to work from home and spend more time with her son, which was her biggest challenge. That was her biggest pain point. And then you can have a personal trainer. Like we have personal trainers, they just tell you, I'm a personal trainer. For what? Are you going to help me with strength, like to build my body for these competitions? Are you going to help me to lose weight? Are you going to help me gain weight? Really be more specific. So if you say you're a personal trainer for amateur athletes who are trying their first marathon, you know, where are people going when they are going to try Matahatran or the one for standard? You know, where are they getting the information? How can you join them and tell them, you know, if you want to race, maybe last year you did 12K kilometers, now you want to do 24, I can, you know, train you for 60 days to be able to withstand and do a better time. There are so many people who are into running. Go into your estate in the morning, people are jogging, you know. So he has specialized in those people. He needs to go where they are at, where they are discussing. So he's not a personal trainer for example, somebody who wants to gain strength or somebody who wants to do something else. Yeah. And then I'm going to give you an example. For example, you are into computer security. So victims of identity theft. Actually, it happened. My brother, his identity was stolen and somebody went and said he has died and wanted to get his insurance. He had life insurance. So it's a thing. And just because it hasn't happened to you doesn't mean there's many people who it happens to them, who take their identity and try and cash in. So you can say, I can help you. I can make sure your laptop, your phone and everything you have, if you're doing banking using your phone, I can, you know, assist you to ensure that everything you have is protected so that you don't have somebody coming to take advantage of you. And the same computer person is qualified to help parents who have teenage children who have just gotten their phone and, you know, he doesn't want them to go, you don't want them to go to porn or bad sites. So I can help you, I can help your child, I can help your child when you're buying your child's first phone so that you know how many apps or which apps are suitable and how you can ensure that you know if my child is going to porn, I am ready to assist. So it's the same computer security, but you see it's different needs, different niches. And everybody, how many parents of teenagers exist in this world? Like, how many do you know from the top of your mind? Probably you're a parent of a teenager or you know a parent of a teenager. But if you just say, I'm into computer security, full stop. I really don't know how because I am not qualified in that field, I don't know how your knowledge or your skills are suitable in my life. So this example I just to give you to tell you, just because you specialize doesn't mean you cannot do everything. It just means you're focusing your effort and everything in one area so that you can be successful and have more direct, like that laser focused sales rather than selling to everybody and actually not being known for anything. Yeah. Melanie, you like my examples?
Love them so much. Love. Helping everything sink in.
Okay. So I told you about search, Google search or Facebook search. I wanted just to share an example so that you understand. So like, for example, if I am looking for somebody who can help me because I'm buying my son, he's just turned 16, or I don't know which age they get to their phones, and I want to buy them a phone and I'm looking for that, I will go and search. Yeah, I'll go and search somebody who can help me with that information. So I'll either go on Google or Facebook or whatever it is, Instagram. So like, for example, if I love animals, I want to wear makeup, but I want to make sure it's cruelty free, then I'll go and see where can I buy cruelty free makeup, you understand? But you can see the differences in terms of how you can niche. So there is one for sensitive skin, for mature skin, for oily skin, for acne, for dark skin. You know, I was telling another lady, she's a makeup artist. I was like, a lot of people who have dark skin are not considered natural beauties, which is BS in my opinion, but it's just how society views them. So I think there's a lot of makeup is suitable for light-skinned or lighter-skinned people. So there's really a gap in terms of how you can manage dark skin. And we live in a country where a majority of women are dark skinned. So something like that, you can say you specialize in makeup for dark-skinned brides. So if that's in brides, no, you know how it will look when they take photo. You're giving them information. You're like, if I use this, if I take the photo, you look like, I'm sorry to use this example, but you remember how Nyotandogo looked in her wedding photos, and everybody, she was trending because she didn't look, her makeup wasn't good. She looked like a ghost. So you're like, I'll make sure when the sun hits you, it's like this. I'll make sure you don't sweat. I'll make sure you do this. That's the information that this bride is yearning for, because she's like, what if I've never worn makeup before? What if I wear makeup on my wedding day and I look like this? If I have acne, you say you specialize in acne, you know, something like that. So this is how people are searching for you. If you're for everybody, you're not going to get into the search. You're going, because people with bigger budgets are already on top of the search. So you have to ensure that you specialize so that people can find you and find what, how your product and service is helping them in their daily lives. So this is my huge example that I use with all my clients. I know you know this guy, everybody knows him. This is the richest man in the world. Yeah. How did he start? He started 25 years ago just selling books. He wasn't selling everything like he's doing now. Amazon just started with books. So it doesn't mean if you start with this niche that you are in jail forever and you can never change. So even Melanie and I have goals. So I'm not going to just be with moms for the rest of my life. I'll probably, you know, create an academy that serves other people. I'll probably do a lot more things. I have a goal, but it cannot happen today. It has to take time. Yeah. Rome was not built in a day. So this guy, see, 25 years ago, just selling books. Then he advanced to books and I think CDs, and now he's selling everything, pillows, beds, or whatever, and he's the richest man in the world. So if you start selling everything, you won't reach that goal, because you will test and see, this is what I can do right now with my current circumstances, with my resources, with my knowledge. Then as you grow, you also continue to grow. So this person who is selling real estate in Kasarani will probably move from Kasarani and Thika Road, and then Kasarani and this, and maybe now Eastern area or Eastern bypass or whatever, you know, instead of saying, okay, I can do Langata, I can do South B, I can do everywhere, and you actually don't know what is happening in those areas. You really don't have knowledge or even passion for those areas. So let it motivate you that even these people who are successful, they actually started with a specialized area before they moved now and became hugely successful. So just because you begin here doesn't mean this is the end. Yeah, Melanie?
We all start somewhere. I remember, I'm not too old in business. I'm not old at all. But when I began, I just used to tell people I can post for them. And I remember there was no order. You know, it was just, okay, you know, this client wants you to put quotes on Mondays, tips on Tuesdays, wonderful things on Wednesdays. You know, they had kind of themes. But then right now it's grown into something else that it's so clear how content should be created. But not only am I helping clients to manage their social media platforms, but I'm also having phone calls to help clients strategize. I'm also doing strategies. I'm also training, you know, the people who probably want a 1 month training, a 3 month, a 1 day, you know, so it's diversified. Just like this guy, start small. You may have one product you're selling now, but don't worry, it will get better, it will get bigger. And it doesn't have to get bigger, like in terms of you having more products. You may have just that one product or service, but make the best out of that one that you have.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to try and go in a hurry because I know we are pressed for time. So after you know your ideal client and you've specialized, now you need to have a marketing strategy or how you're going to reach them, okay? So you need to find where your ideal client is, which you've already said, and start seeing what are they posting about. Get in touch with, you know, what their pain points are, what their frustrations are, what do they enjoy doing, what do they like, yeah? You don't want to reach out to everybody. You want specific, so like if you're specifically like Amazon selling books, obviously he was advertising to people who read and buy books. Yeah. So your marketing strategy in terms of the message you're giving your client, it has to have 4 P's. Really remember that whatever you're selling, whatever your product or service is right now, write down what problem does it, what is the biggest challenge it solves for your ideal client. How, and then the promise is, how does your solution or how does your service or product solve this problem? So number one, be very clear on one problem. Don't say it solves this and this and that and that, which is the biggest one. And then on the promise, how does the client fare when after they encounter your service or product? So like for me, they have a solid plan to make sales. They have target sales, which they have to smash in the month to 5 figures and consistent 5 figures. So with you, for example, if it is your salon, then they will look good after how long, or what would be, why weren't they looking good before that? Now they will look good with you, or maybe they will be comfortable, whatever it is. So you really need to be clear on the problem. You need to be clear on the promise. So the problem, if you can say me, the problem is A and the promise is B. So you also need to be clear on the process. How do they reach from A to B? Yeah. So with me, you have to have internet, you have to have, a laptop, you have to do the work. I don't do the work for you. I give you a plan, but you have to implement the plan. I always tell my clients, it's like I buy you a television and I give you a manual, and you read the manual, but you don't switch on the television. You will never watch TV. So you have to, even with this workshop that we are giving you, Melanie and I, if you don't implement these steps, if you don't sit down and write down your 4 Ps, you will still remain where you are at. So you will still remain not knowing who your ideal client is and probably not making sales. So you need to be very clear. If you're selling a product, what is the process? How do they order? How much can they order? Yeah, what is the delivery charges? How is there a return policy? If there's no return policy, can you explain why? Don't just tell the client, that's my policy, that's it. Let the client understand what it is. You can say, because it's a perishable item or whatever, let the client actually know what's the process from you identifying that they have a problem and empathizing with it to you solving the problem. So the process, and of course now the price. How much does it cost? Yeah, how much does it cost? What else is the cost involved? Like I've talked about delivery charges. With me, the cost is you have to have an open mind. You have to throw away everything you thought was working and give this a chance for some time. You have to be consistent. If I give you a 30-day plan, you have to commit to it and do it every single day. Because me, I must stay at home. So I know how busy it gets, but I actually make time. So be very clear on your 4 Ps, and that is what you will use to engage your ideal client. So what kind of content are you creating for your ideal client? Are you just going to social media and telling them how much this thing is and they should buy from me? Everybody else is doing that. That makes no difference to them. How do they know you? How do they trust you? Trust is the biggest issue with online marketing. So how you can engage with the ideal client and make them to like you and to trust you is to provide helpful information that helps them solve a certain problem. So for example, if you're a salon owner, you'll create content and say, this is how you prepare for salon. Maybe you should come with this, like the way Melanie said, come with your own products. If you're an event business, you're like, this is how I usually create an event budget. So if you have a wedding, this is, things that you cannot bypass. The venue, it costs, maybe venues in Nairobi cost an average of this much. Venues in Meru cost an average of this much. This is a helpful information where you've not told me to buy. You've just given me information free of charge to build your authority, to make me like you, to make me trust you, because I'll be like, wow, this information is very helpful. And you can do that in many ways. You can do that with posts, you can do checklists, you can do PDF guides, If for like the way I told you about the guy in Kabete saying, I sell these are the hospitals in Kasarani. That information is not telling you I'm an agent. If you need a house, come. It will just telling you helpful information that will help you in your daily life. What will happen is this information will be shared, reshared, appreciated, and you don't buy from somebody you don't appreciate. And then use stories to connect with your ideal client. Like I had a lady come to me and she told me, I sell handbags, I'm a university student, I need your help with strategy and I can't afford you. I was like, okay, so now why do you sell handbags? And she told me it's because she's an orphan and she uses that to pay school fees. So I said, that's the information that you should use, because everybody else is selling handbags, but not everybody is a student who is using handbags to actually help them pay for accommodation in school. So the first post we did, we went to, because they were handbags for women, we went to 2 groups, career women, and I can't remember the other one. And she was like, do Do you guys remember the hassle you were doing in college to pay for accommodation? Can you remember? And everybody was commenting, oh yes, I used to do photocopier, and another was saying, oh, I used to sell fries, oh, I used to make people's hair, and everybody was excited to comment on that post. And then she said, me, I sell handbags. So all the people who were there were like, oh, let me support you. I remember how hard it was, how I hustled. I'm very proud of you. You're not depending on men for money, blah, blah, blah. And they actually bought her handbag. So she didn't go there and say, buy my handbag. She just told her story on her why. So it's very important. 80% of your content should be helpful information and 20% you're selling. Once you're doing helpful information, you're actually attracting the client to you. They will actually want to know more. This person knows so much about this. What are they, like if you're selling clothes now, it's called season. What is the advice for people like me who have kids? How do we keep them warm? How do we ensure, the right clothes so that they have, fresh air as they're sleeping, so that their chest doesn't congest and things like that. That is what will help you sell. This information should be very simple to understand. So try as much as possible to make it short. I know I'm doing a long session, so I'm not walking the talk, but I really wanted you to get as much value as possible. So make sure the information is easy to digest. Use bullet points. Make sure you have a heading. If you're doing vlogs or video, like for example, if you're a salon owner and you're showing how the hairstyles are, don't need to do a whole 1 hour. You can just, edit it to something like 5 minutes or 2 minutes, something somebody can watch and quickly, understand what you're about. Yeah, make sure the information is timely. What is happening in your ideal client's life? Like right now, it's called season. It's Father's Day. It's, I don't know if it is midterm or whatever is going on in your client's life, you need to speak to that. So a lot of people are going online and say, buy this on Father's Day. Don't go and say that. Just see what is the biggest lie that your father told when you were young that you found out when you're adult was a lie. And somebody will say, oh yeah, they told me if I shower when it's raining, lightning will strike me and I will die. Or if I wear red, or he lied to me that he was number one. Something fun, and people will be happy and they will engage, and it will make them think about their father and now associate your product with their father. You're selling an emotional thing. People don't buy logically, let me tell you. People buy with emotion. So make sure your information is timely. We already talked about consistency. Make sure the information is consistent. So if you're doing a vlog for your salon every Monday drop it like it's hot. Make sure it drops in that specific space. So choose a specific area and make sure you're consistent there. So the ABC of sales. So we're going to do a little bit of math. You need an audience, like you need 100 leads. Leads are people who already know who you are. And it's, in other words, I can say they are prospects. So for you to make one sale, you need 100 leads. So if you don't specialize, the pool is even much bigger because the message is not clear. If you need 2 sales, you need 200 leads. So you need to create a lead generation system. So what is your lead generation system? Where do your clients come to you after you've reached to them and given them helpful information? How do they then come back to you? Okay. So you can do that through your website or your sales, your Facebook page or your Instagram page. You really need a conversion, a place where you convert the client from a prospect to a client, and not only just buying at that particular time, but somebody who will also continue buying. You can upsell, or also you can use them as ambassadors. They can preach to other people and tell them how amazing your product or service is. So you really need to have a lead generation system. So you need to create awareness. This is the ABC of sales. You need to create awareness about your product or service. You need to build trust, and you need to convert that to sale. Nobody will buy if they're not aware that you exist, because they don't know you. Nobody will buy from you if they don't trust you. And then you need to have a place where they can come and now purchase whatever product or service you have and see other things that you have or how else they can engage with you. So I'll give you an example. For example, you're selling on Facebook. So you go and create an awareness post with a question. So like this lady, she asked, did you guys have a hustle when you were in college? That's a question post. So a lot of people will engage because that's just an easy question, So people will be like, yeah, I did photocopy, blah, blah, blah. Then how she'll build trust by telling them her story. So she'll be like, I sell handbags to help myself. I'm in this college, blah, blah, blah. So that's how she will build trust. People will relate to her story and understand that this is normal. People actually do that. Then she will tell them, invite them to her page and say, come to my page to see the variety of handbags I have, because they are like, oh, I want to support you. How can I support you? So then she'll invite them to her page. They will like her page. So they will not just buy for that particular day. When she has new stock and they need to replenish, she'll buy. If she's selling, she has a discount rate for Mother's Day, they will know about it because she has a place where they can convert. Melanie, you want to add something? I can't see you.
I'm still here. Sorry, I switched off my video because of internet fluctuation, but I'm okay. So far, nothing to add.
Okay, so I'll give you another example. So for me, I told you my the audience is moms. So I'll go to groups where there are moms and I'll say, are there moms here who want to work at home as a coach or a consultant? And then a lot of moms will have been considering it. Yes, some will say no. So the ones who say yes now are my lead generation. Then I will build trust by saying I created a list of 75 business ideas that you can start as a coach or as a coach or a consultant, just being a stay-at-home mom. Would you like a copy? So everybody who will say, would you like a copy? I will send them a link. So the link will be either go to my Facebook group, which is my conversion page, or my website, which is my conversion page. But since you're starting, start with where you are at. So once they go there and download the book, then I will reach out and say, did you download my guide? How did you find it? I would like us to have a call to see how I can be of help. And most likely they'll be say, yes, I saw something I like. I really want to be a bathing coach. Let's engage. So I'll do a 30-minute strategy call where I will now convert them and sell my services or product. So I'll not just go straight when somebody doesn't know me or has never encountered me and be like, buy my service. They will not. They'll be like, who are you? What are you talking about? So this is just a summary of what I have said. Introduce yourself and make a name in your ideal audience. So you've already identified your ideal audience. Introduce yourself there and make sure you're well known. How do you make yourself well known? By providing valuable information at 80% and selling at 90. Okay, I mean at 20. Take the relationship to the next level. So make sure the next level is bringing them to your page. So if you have your own page or you have your own website or your group, your WhatsApp group, make sure they come there. And then when they're there now, how will you convert them into a customer or a client? So a biggest example is Netflix. I think there's some people here who have Netflix. When you go to Netflix, they'll tell you, we're going to give you Netflix 3 for 30 days. So obviously you've seen an advert for Netflix and then you clicked, you saw their website and they tell you, so when they created awareness by advertising their service. So everybody knows Netflix and chill, you're curious. So you go to their page and then they tell you, try Netflix, all Netflix for 30 days. And then all you have to do is put in your email. And then when you try, you're like, oh my God, these shows are so amazing. Oh, this show is so amazing. Oh, this show is it's so amazing. And then what will happen is after 30 days, now they will ask you, what shows did you enjoy? Do you want to buy? We have these packages. Then they will share their packages. So you see there's a process. There's an ABC to the sell. So I'm going to conclude. I'm very sorry if I went over time. And I want you to think about what is your income goal? How much do you want to earn from your business? So think about it. So you can say probably I want to earn, let's say for an example, 50,000 K each month. So 50,000 K each month, what are you selling? So probably you will say I'm selling shoes at 500. So that means you made 1,000 people to buy your shoes each month. Which kind of shoes are you selling? Who is buying those shoes? Who will buy those shoes easily and successfully? Maybe you're selling school shoes. So maybe it's people who have school-going children. Where do they hang out? Are they on Facebook or Instagram? You want to meet them there. Give them helpful information. Telling them, or don't buy a big size shoe because the child will trip and fall, or make sure you polish the shoe in the evening because the polish needs to settle and it won't interfere with the socks in the morning. And I'll be like, oh my God, you're really helping me, because since I started polishing at night, the socks have not been as dirty as they have been before. So then I will start following you and checking you out. What's your page? And then now when you're on your page is when I will know your shoes are 500, which is affordable. And I'll be like, how can I buy? And probably I have 6 children, so then I need 6 pairs. Okay. So you really have to start with the end in mind, how much you want to earn from your business, and then now go to where your audience who will buy at, and what is your strategy for reaching them. So when you start your business, or when you're in the beginning of the business, don't spend so much money on non-income generating things. Don't spend so much money on website, on things. You actually need to spend money or time or resources on knowing your strategy, knowing how you help your client from A to B. Yeah, how do you solve a problem? What is the problem they have and how do you solve it? What is their desired solution? And then so you know who you serve, what you sell to them, how you solve their problem, and how you can reach them. So if you don't know that, don't go spending so much money in a logo, in a website or whatever. If you like, when you buy Safaricom, you don't buy because they have an awesome logo. You actually buy because they are solving a certain challenge in your life. Yes. Melanie, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't go over time too much.
It's okay. It was worth it.
Yeah.
So guys, any questions, feel free to ask. This is your opportunity. Phanice, I hope I haven't cut you short.
No, it's fine, because I just wanted to tell them they need to work on it, which I think I already did. So yeah, I'm ready for questions.
Okay. In case you have a question, please feel free to unmute yourself. I have just granted you access. In case you have no question, there's a feedback form on the chat. Feel free to fill it for us so that we can get to just improve on this event. Virtual coffee happens once in a month, so we'll be sure to invite you for the next one. We tackle various topics. It's been so good to have you all here. Thank you, Phanice. It's been interesting for you to take us through that topic. You know, we've had a really, really good time. I can see someone in the chat.
Okay.
Phanice, maybe you can stop sharing your screen. Okay. Pauline is asking, so for niche targeting, how do you go about targeting and segmentation, especially for niche handbags, for instance?
Sorry, Melanie, I was trying to, you know how I am with technology.
It's okay.
Yeah, so repeat the question.
So for niche targeting, how do you go about targeting and segmentation, especially for niche handbags or high fashion items? So
for fashion, think about fashion is this huge conglomerate. Like there's high-end fashion, there's low-end fashion, there's, what do they call it? The ones that have been used, they call it, I can't even remember. So there's so much, and a lot of people have different needs. So think about what you really are good at. First of all, what do you love? What is that fashion thing that you love talking about? So like, I know someone who creates fashion for people who like hard rock. I didn't even know there was hard rock in Kenya, and they have so many fans, and they like to wear black and gothic and black makeup. She actually creates clothes for them, and because she's a hard rock fanatic, which is I would never think about. So I think first start with what you're passionate about in that particular fashion. What kind of handbags are you passionate about? And then who do you want to serve? Who wears those handbags? Who loves them? Who wears them repeatedly? I tell people there's handbags for 200 and there's handbag for 20,000. There's actually even handbags for 200K. So not every handbag is for everybody. So think about who do you want to serve, and you can serve easily and successfully. So like, you've never sold a handbag for 200K, that should not be your starting point. Start start with, you know, something that you're most comfortable with. So if you carry handbags for going out, and you know how it is to put in your lip gloss somewhere and to do this and to do, that's the content you will make. You'll be like, don't go with this huge handbag in the club. If you're selling for a mom like me, I need a huge one because I need to hide all the snacks for my kids. I need to put Pampers here, I need to put there. So different needs for different folks. So think about who do you want to serve the most and what you're most passionate about, and then from there break it down.
Nice, thank you. I can see her also asking, okay, Pauline, I'm not sure I get your question, but I've seen you saying on FB or even on Google Ads. Do you want to maybe unmute yourself so that you make that last part clear, what you mean?
It was mostly about segmentation and targeting, say on like Facebook or like on Google Ads. Like if I'm targeting like a small niche, how do I go about it? Or are there tools maybe that show that these people in this career, say career women who I'm targeting, say what are their interests, instead of like going general, or they're using smartphones, they're using iPads. Is there like a way to like really target them and like really get them?
Melanie, I think this is your domain.
So yeah, there actually is, but that happens when you're setting up advertisements. So if you're, for example, promoting a post on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever platform, there's a part where it asks you to define their interest. So sometimes they suggest, like they'll give you a list you can pick from, or because you know your audience better, you can select the interest. Only challenge is sometimes if you choose too many interests, then the number of people you can reach with your advertisement reduces. But the goodness is you can see it. So as you keep adding interest, the estimate keeps changing. It tells you now you reach this number of people. Now you reach this number of people. So it's actually possible when you're doing it with setting ads. But when you're posting kawaida without running ads, then you're going to be only talking to your followers. If you use hashtags, you may reach other people who do searches with hashtags. But then if you want to go into specific targeting, you'll have to do it using ads.
Yeah. And I would suggest, if you're starting out and you really are not sure who your target audience is, try marketing organically, because you will get frustrated if you're doing ads and they're not bringing in money. And what Melanie is not also telling you is also with ads, you need to be consistent. You just don't advertise today, then next month you leave it. And she actually taught me that. So you really need to be consistent with the ads. So if you don't know who you are serving and then you're just advertising, it will feel like you're flashing money. So I would rather be clear organically meaning without ads, and see how the response is. So like if you put in a question, like if you're saying your ideal audience is career women, there's many career women groups. You go and put in the question post, see how they respond, and then maybe change it, set and readjust. That's what I'm saying. Then when you see, okay, there's a need, that's when now you seek Melanie's advice and have a session with her and see how you can now advertise to that specific group, rather than just going straight and probably that's not the group for you.
Nice, thanks for that, Phanice. I can see someone else saying, hi, you offer services to manage social media accounts. What are your charges? I can see you don't have your name on Zoom, but I've put in a link to book a meeting with me to discuss. Charges are not constant. It depends on what you want, what goal you're trying to achieve, and much more. So feel free to book a meeting using the link that I've put in on the chat. I've put meeting links for both me and Phanice. In case you want to have a meeting with either of us, feel free to book there.
And if you want to have a meeting with both of us and you want to buy us coffee, that is also allowed.
Yes. Please. I can see someone else asking, Yvonne, I'm in a number of WhatsApp groups and conversion for my business is negative. Is it really necessary to advertise them? She says she's in the active wear industry.
Mm-hmm. So if you're in the active wear industry, I need to ask, are you in active wear industry enthusiasts, or people who are active in those WhatsApp groups? Are you in those fitness families? You know, people who are in fitness know each other, they love each other, they will tell each other where to buy active wear. So probably you are in the groups where your ideal audience doesn't reside. Maybe I'm in those groups because me, I'm not active. So I will obviously ignore what you're saying because it doesn't help me in my life. And then you want to be more specific. What kind of active wear. So is it for big women? Is it for men? Is it for, you know, smaller women? Is it for whoever it is? So think about that and seek. Now look at your ideal audience specifically and then see, are those people in the group? And if they are not, then I would rather you just not waste your time and look for groups where your value is appreciated, because people are always looking for active wear. I remember when I used to be active before I had kids, I used to shop a lot, and I used to like Fit Sisters and all those people. So there are people, your people are looking for you, but you're not in their space.
I hope that answers you, Yvonne. In case it doesn't, feel free to unmute yourself to seek more clarification. Okay, but I think so far so good. So in case there are no more questions, thank you so much for your time. Apologies for the extension. We've had such a wonderful time. I'll share the recording immediately after this, and you'll be hearing from us soon about the next date for virtual coffee. I can see comments in the chat saying, thank you for the insightful session. Thank you for the advice. Fantastic. So thank you, everyone. Have a lovely afternoon. Feel free to drop off the tour at your own leisure. You are most welcome.
Thank you so much for showing up. Please tell your friends about it. We do it every month. Invite them so that they can also benefit. Like we have said, there's enough for everybody. So when we specialize, we can serve more people. So make sure a lot of people can benefit from this. We really love to help as many people as we can. Thank you, Melanie, for such a wonderful facilitation.
You're most welcome.